Castillo.
Here. And thank you. Commissioner Carter, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance and land acknowledgement while the rest of us mute?
Thank you very much. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And I am delighted to be able to read our land acknowledgement today, which effective today becomes a part of our board meeting format. And the land acknowledgement statement goes as follows. Every community owes its existence and vitality to generations from around the world who contributed their hopes, dreams, and energy to making the history that led to this moment. Some were brought here against their will. Some were drawn to leave their distant homes in hope of a better life. And some have lived on this land since time immemorial. Truth and acknowledgement are critical to building mutual respect and connection across all barriers of heritage and difference. We are standing on the ancestral lands of the Dakota people. We want to acknowledge the Ojibwe, the Ho-Chunk, and the other nations of people who also called this place home. We pay respects to their elders, past and present. Please take a moment to consider the treaties made by the tribal nations that entitle non-Native people to live and work on traditional Native lands. Consider the many legacies of violence, displacement, migration, and settlement that bring us together here today. And please join us in uncovering such truths at any and all public events. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Carter. You have the agenda of February 1st, 2022 presented for approval.
So moved, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
McGuire. Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on our agenda? Seeing none, we'll take a roll call, please.
Carter.
Aye.
Fretham.
Aye.
McDonough.
Aye.
McGuire.
Aye.
Ortega.
Aye.
Reinhardt.
Aye.
And Matas Castillo.
Aye. You have the minutes from January 25th, 2022 presented for approval. Do I have a motion?
Move approval.
Thank you.
Second.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the minutes? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Carter.
Aye.
Fretham.
Aye.
McDonough.
Aye.
McGuire.
Aye.
Ortega.
Aye.
Reinhardt.
Aye.
And Matas Castillo.
Aye. Thank you. And now we'll turn to the county manager and our public health team for our COVID updates.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members, good morning. This is our short COVID update week, and so Director Sarah Holly will provide that update for you all today.
Thank you. Good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioners, County Manager O'Connor. It's great to be back here this morning, providing a brief update. Just a reminder that Omicron still remains the dominant COVID variant across the United States. We are still experiencing high levels of community transmission, not only across the United States, but here in Minnesota. The good news is we are seeing our cases slowly decline. I will stress, though, that we want to continue those mitigation strategies, masking up, getting your vaccine plus your booster, getting regular testing, and making sure that you are staying home if you are sick. On Monday, January 31st, the Minnesota Department of Health did report 29 new COVID-19 related deaths. Since the pandemic began in March of 2020, the state of Minnesota has reported 11,411 COVID-related deaths. Of those, 5,346 have been tied to long-term care or assisted living facilities, just stressing the importance of what we've gone through the last few years. I want to just mention that open hospital beds continue to be scarce across the state. as 92.9% of adult non-ICU hospital beds are in use, and 94.3% of adult ICU beds are also occupied. As of January 28th, 1,455 people are hospitalized with COVID-19, and 208 of them are in the ICU. So just, seeing still the impact on our hospital system. I want to move now to talk about testing. At-home tests are not accounting for the state's case number, so I just want to remind people of that. And MDH reported around 12,098 new positive cases as of Monday. Currently, though, there are multiple ways that people can get tested for COVID-19. So that is good news. You can, access an at-home PCR or rapid antigen test, or you can certainly visit a number of on-site testing sites across the state. As you know, last week we launched our community testing site here in St. Paul. It's being run by St. Paul Ramsey County Public Health staff. It opened last Thursday. And the time for those clinics are Tuesday and Thursday at Frogtown Community Center. And that will run from 2 to 6 p.m. each Tuesday and Thursday through at least March 3rd. We're offering PCR saliva tests, and we will also accommodate walk-ins. So we encourage people to visit that testing site, and also visit a number of state testing sites that have come online as of the last few weeks. Just a reminder that the Biden administration purchased around 1 million at-home tests that each household can order up to 4 tests, and you can visit covidtests.gov. Again, that's covidtests.gov. It takes about 7 to 12 days to receive those tests in the mail. I also just want to mention really quickly, I think a few weeks ago we talked about the advancement of insurance companies covering the cost of at-home tests. This happened, and any tests that were purchased after January 15th could be covered by health insurance companies. Up to $12 per test, and up to 8 tests per month, each person should be covered related to that. I want to mention that this is an additional cost coverage that applies to private insurers or group health plans. It also includes MNsure private health plans for individuals, so that's really good news. Different guidelines, though, may apply to Medicare and Medicaid public health plans. So again, just a few reminders here. Check with your health plan first before you start going out and purchasing these tests through our local pharmacies. Check for direct coverage of these tests, and then just follow the process. One thing I just want to mention is for folks to do their research. And one thing that was mentioned through some of our news sources was that if you purchase a test, please purchase it at the pharmacy counter. So again, a lot of great information, a lot of great coverage for tests, but we just want people to do their research. So again, check with your health plans on your coverage for at-home tests. Lastly, we will be leveraging a large delivery, right, Laura and Dr. Ogawa, of state N95s this month to our community members, primarily through our existing county partners, and as well as our Trusted Messenger program. I just want to thank all of the departments and our Trusted Messengers for being great partners throughout our COVID-19 response. Lastly, we're also working with our HR department partners to update the isolation and quarantine guidance, and that will be available later this week. So stay tuned for that Ramsey Net update. Now I'll turn it over to Incident Commander Anderson.
Thank you, Director Holly. Just very briefly, if we take a look at the local numbers, I'm not going to share the dashboard this morning, but I just want you all to be aware we are seeing a decline in terms of case rate and positivity. So sitting at about 1,400 cases per 100,000. Our positivity is sitting at about 17.6% among those using laboratory confirmed test. Just a quick update at our own Frogtown site, which launched on Thursday. We provided 34 tests. We'll see if the numbers go up this week. We absolutely take walk-ins. These are Tuesday and Thursday from 2 to 6 p.m. at Frogtown Community Center. Just for awareness, I think testing demand has clearly gone down across all sites since the holidays. we'll absolutely continue to promote testing as one of our key mitigation strategies to reduce the spread of COVID-19. For the week of January 31st through February 6th, we expect to administer about 600 doses of vaccine. And since we launched our promotion for boosters as well as pediatric doses, we've given a little bit more than 3,500 booster doses at our vaccine clinics and about 5,300 pediatric doses. So with that update, I will just briefly pass the mic to Dr. Ogawa. Thank you.
Madam Chair, Board, thanks for having us again. I'm supposed to keep it very short, so I'm going to. My biggest news is that Moderna's vaccine, Spikevax, has received full approval from the FDA. This is really good news. The further data that the FDA looked at was over 18,000 cases, or 18,000 individuals, half of whom were 28,000, half of whom were vaccinated and half of whom received placebo. Spikevax was 94% effective at preventing any transmission, which is actually better data than what we've been seeing in the field still, but still very good, and 98% effective at preventing severe disease. So that's very exciting. I also believe that Spikevax is a much cooler name than Comirnaty, but it's okay. Lastly, both Pfizer and Moderna have in the works Omicron-specific vaccines. So they've adjusted the messenger RNA specifically to identified the Omicron capsule. That data should be coming out probably March, April. Hopefully on both of those, and we may be seeing some new recommendations. Lastly, and then I really am done, Moderna is working on a combination flu and COVID, depending upon whatever strain is the predominant strain, vaccine, which could potentially make an annual vaccine to protect against both COVID and influenza. That would be fantastic. I think, and a welcome addition to our vaccine preventable diseases. I will now turn it back to Director Holly.
Thank you, Dr. Ogawa and Lieutenant Commander Anderson. I think we, Madam Chair, Commissioners, we ask that you email us questions, but I do see Commissioner Ortega's hand up. Is it okay if we take one question this morning? Thank you, Madam Chair.
Commissioner Ortega.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just go see to Sarah Olin. I know it's early, but what information do you have on the latest variant that that's been, that we found now in this country? Very small numbers, but.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, Madam Chair, Commissioner Ortega. I'll turn this question over to Lieutenant Commander Anderson and Dr. Ogawa, but I will state that I think the variant has been here for a little bit. They can give a little bit more background on what we're hearing and learning.
I'll go ahead and start, Chair Matas Castillo, Commissioner Ortega. So the reality is the CDC, along with the states, are constantly monitoring for variants of interest or variants of concern, and we expect those to continue to evolve and develop over time. The good news about Omicron, if there is any, is that it appears to be, at this time, it is the most transmissible variant that we've experienced. So what that means is it will likely preclude us from seeing, other variants rise and take over. They compete with each other is what I'm trying to say. So likelihood of this one really taking hold and creating an additional spike in cases, from my perspective, is quite low.
Thank you.
I get to say one last thing. Sorry.
Yes,
and it's actually just in support of all that. It's really, we continue to expect variants. Each one is going to be somehow either potentially more transmissible or more severe. Luckily, thus far, we've seen primarily more infectious, but And Omicron, just as Instant Commander Laura Anderson mentioned, was so broad that it's going to be more difficult, hopefully, for other variants to sneak in and create more problems.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other updates, County Manager O'Connor, on this topic? Are we good?
Good is always an interesting term during the pandemic, but we have no further updates for today, and we'll keep you posted. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Then we're going to move on to our administrative items. Commissioner Carter.
Thank you. I'm delighted to move the following items on our administrative agenda, including number 3, terms of collective bargaining agreement with American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees Bargaining Units for the years 2022, 2023, and 2024. Item number 4, salary and benefit changes for non-represented classified and unclassified employees for 2022, 23, and 24. Number 5, personnel complement increases in public health. Number 6, correction to 2022-23 public health environmental health fees. Number 7, proposed changes to public health clinical fees. Number 8, Ramsey County Care Center and Lake Owasso residents general fund balance transfer to close 2021 enterprise funds. Number 9, second amendment to lease agreement with Badger Properties Riverview LLC. And number 10, project labor agreement for Ramsey County Courthouse, St. Paul City Hall roof and mechanic ductwork system replacement project. Number 11, affirm action taken in closed meeting regarding South Maplewood Properties request for developer interest. I move these items.
Second.
Second.
Madam Chair, you're on mute.
I was just checking to see if you're paying attention. Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on these items?
Madam Chair, I do have a last minute catch on the administrative items.
Sure.
If we could, specific one administrative amendment on the request for board action related to the terms of bargaining agreement with the AFSCME bargaining. So item number 3.
Okay.
In the year on page 4 of the attachment on the year 2023, we have a dental number in there, which was meant to be TBD, like the medical. It was a placeholder just as an illustrative piece. And so there's just a typo in the attachment. We don't want to say that we have an agreement we don't have. And so if I would ask if possible that we could amend the 2023 dental numbers to be TBD as a change that we need to make.
Thank you. Commissioner Carter, is that a okay amendment for you?
It absolutely is.
Okay, all right. And Commissioner McDonough, I think you seconded it. You're okay with the amendment?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. Any other discussion? Thank you. Then we'll move those items with the approved amendment.
Madam Chair,
Oh, we have to take a vote on
Commissioner
that.
Protham.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, Commissioner Protham.
Can you repeat where that TBD is going? Because I see a TBD for the dental, but not for the medical.
On page 4 of the attachment for item 3, so handwritten page 4, which in the bottom right-hand corner, it says dental insurance and it has the years, and it currently reads it has numbers for total premium and employee contribution.
I'm not seeing that.
On the item number 3, so item 2022-039, you may be looking at the unrepresented one is all I would say, because the unrepresented one is done correctly. But in the AFSCME bargaining agreement, so on the attachment, there'd be the first page of the description, the second page that has the impacts and then it talks attachments. The third page is the first part of the attachment. And then that fourth page addresses the years. And we have the medical insurance with TBDs, but under the year 2023 dental insurance, we have numbers currently of total premium splits with a total premium and employee contribution. We need to change those to TBD.
I'm wondering if maybe what's available on the public website is different because I'm really not seeing any of that.
Madam Chair, if for some reason we actually got it updated on the public website, then it'll be a very easy amendment for us because it'll be redundant to what we've done. And if not, we'll make sure that it aligns appropriately. Thanks for flagging it for us that it may already be there.
Thanks. Yeah, that's all.
Great, thank you. Do we need to take a vote on the amendment or can we move all the items as amended? Can we move items as is?
Madam Chair, I think in this particular case, it fits with the administrative piece the way
Okay.
I think we're good to go.
Okay, great. Then let's do roll call. Thank you.
Carter,
Aye.
Fretham,
Aye.
McDonough,
Aye.
McGuire,
Aye.
Ortega,
Aye.
Reinhardt,
Aye.
and Modis Castillo.
Aye. Thank you. And we're going to go to County Connections. County Manager O'Connor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Let me pull this one up. I want to make sure I get it technically correct. You'll understand as I go. I wanted to just highlight that good news from our IS team. Prior to Wednesday, Minute, our state partner that works with us on internet service, was running just under internet connection of 1 gigabyte per second. And early Wednesday morning, the state network team migrated us onto high-speed fiber and the new optic ring, which doubles our speeds from 1 to 2 gigabytes per second. Why does this matter, you might ask? Because it should hopefully make things like video meetings go smoother, faster YouTube trainings, and upload, download data when you're at county sites. So I look forward to the first time that doesn't happen and you all say, I don't notice a difference. We have those days. But overall, this should hopefully help as the county conducts business, but also in our work with so many residents that we serve through video and other means now as a part of our service delivery. It's a big news to be able to upgrade our service, and we are excited to share that today. And that's all I have, Madam Chair. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. We're going to start with outside committee and board reports, and we'll start with Commissioner Fretham.
No report today. Thank you.
All right, Commissioner McDonough,
No report.
Commissioner McGuire. Oh,
Get
you're
off
on
mute. There we are. Yep. Thanks, Madam Chair. I'm going to give a brief legislative report since the legislative session started yesterday, so we can start adding those to the agenda. But our legislative team, made up of myself and Commissioner Modis Castillo, along with our government relations directors Jennifer O'Rourke and Melissa Finnegan, continue to meet weekly. And so just to let you know, the House and Senate started yesterday. The House especially hit the ground running with their hearings already starting today. And we're tracking some important bills that I'll just mention. The House DFL public safety package carried by Representative Cedric Fraser. It's also being heard. It's being heard in public safety, Representative Mariani's committee as well. So Commissioner Modis Castillo wrote a letter of support on behalf of the board for the community policing provisions of the bill that we're tracking, and it was sent off to leaders yesterday. So we're involved in the public safety issue as we should be. The deadlines were announced last week. The first one is March 25th. That means that one of the bills all have to be heard in at least one of the bodies by March 25th. Then the second deadline is April 8th, in which the spending bills need to be put together. And then their legislative break is going to be April 9th through the 19th of April. So those are just some dates that we have received. The bonding, the House starts hearing provisions from the governor's bonding bill proposal today with the 8:30 hearing. They started this morning already. And because we were lucky to get stops along the bonding tour, we probably won't get hearings in the House just because they've already seen and heard our proposals. So, but we'll just keep working with individual members on the bonding proposals. Counties are testifying this week, as we've said, that they're already starting hearings. Our own county engineer, Ted Schenecker, is on behalf of the Minnesota County Engineers, is testifying in the House Transportation Committee. Chair Hornstein asked the association to talk about local needs, and so we're grateful that our director Schenecker is presenting on those needs. We have our first Ramsey County delegation meeting with our legislators on February 9th from 11:30 to 1. Our co-chairs continue to be Representative Jamie Becker-Finn and Senator Mary Kunish. So we're looking forward to that. If you have any questions, please continue to reach out to either to Jennifer O'Rourke or Melissa Finnegan, or to Commissioner Mattis Castillo or myself. And thanks to everyone for all their work. We know that all of you on this call are continuing to do work with all of your respective issues, but if you have anything to add, I welcome that at this point. And after that, I'll give my own weekly report, Madam Chair, if there's no other questions, if there's no other comments. Commissioner Reinhardt has a comment on the
Commissioner
legislative.
Reinhardt, go ahead.
The Ramsey County delegation meeting, is that something we're supposed to have on our agendas?
We're doing it virtually, and so we're deciding how many of us will be on the call. So we're figuring that out. So it will be on your calendar if it needs to be. Yeah.
Okay.
So
thank you.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thanks. Commissioner McGuire, continue with your report.
Just to let you know, the Capital Region watersheds, I know Commissioner Mattis Castillo and I were both at this meeting. It was very exciting. I encourage anyone, if there's a tape or to look at the awards winners, it was very amazing. All of the watershed awards that were given out for the year, the combination with art and water quality and keeping that up was just tremendous. So kudos to all the award winners for Capital Region watershed. Commissioner Mattis Castillo will talk about this, but I know she did a great job on behalf of our board at the McCollum field. Congresswoman Betty McCollum had a field hearing on Wednesday, and we were grateful that you represented us so well there, Commissioner Mattis Castillo. I would just want to say Roseville Rotary had the Roseville Sustainability Team come, and it was just so exciting that they talked so much about the partnerships that their sustainability team has with our environmental health group, as far as working with our Ramsey County Organics collection, with our business recycling, with our complete streets, with our active living work. So it was just exciting that they're partnering so much with the county. And of course, we all know how intertwined we are all with our cities. And so that was great. It was great to hear that work being done. So thank you, Madam Chair. That completes my report.
Thank you, Commissioner McGuire. Commissioner Ortega.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We've had several meetings that many of us attended, but two events that stand out. Number one is I presented to Senate Minority Leader Senator Melissa Franson our River's Edge project. She very much liked it and is supporting it and lending her name to the project. The other is a ribbon cutting at the Parkway North, I believe it's called, on 7th Street. And it's a Hmong developer, and congratulations to Michael Tao and the entire group. But what was interesting about that housing is that it was built for families. And so the small things, so for example, there are apartments with 3 bedrooms. They all have very large storage spaces and very large closets for families, big families, which you don't see. So those kind of details. So it was a little different in the way the kind of things they embedded into the project that lends itself to larger families, if you have 3, 4 kids. So I just thought I'd bring that up. Thank you.
Thank you. And Commissioner Reinhardt.
Thank you. Well, there are a couple, as Commissioner Ortega mentioned, there were a lot of meetings, and we tried to get to as many as we possibly could. But there are two that I wanted to highlight. And the first one is the Recycling and Energy Board with Ramsey and Washington counties. We had our regular meeting, but we also had a workshop, and that was on the issues surrounding the financing and budgeting and how everything works. And so staff did a fantastic job of pulling all the information together, identifying where we could make changes that would make it more transparent. And I just really wanted to thank staff for all of the work that they did on that. It went very well. There were questions, and we'll be moving forward with the recommendations on potential bylaw changes and different things that make it, and the sole purpose really was to make it more transparent and to make sure that the county boards, even though we have a majority of our commissioners on the board, that we had more communication between the county boards and the RNE board itself. So the staff was involved, and we really made sure that everyone had the same information. So I didn't want to pass this without giving thanks to our staff, because it was a lot of work and a lot of time, much needed, because we knew that we were going to make changes. We just didn't know exactly what we needed to look at. So thanks to them. The Partnership on Waste and Energy also met and talked about legislative issues primarily. One of the issues, because we've all talked or heard so much about Emerald Ash Borer and the planks that we have on that for funding, and brought up the fact that we also need to look at reforestation, and that especially Congresswoman McCollum is very concerned about that and trying to do what she can at the federal level, but also at the state level. And I know that Hennepin County is, they actually have like a nursery for trees, and they're, you know, it's about time we learned that you can't just plant all one kind. And so anyhow, there's a mixture that will be planted so that we don't run into things like this where we lose so many of our trees at one time. So, but that continues to be a huge issue, and not something that people necessarily think about, but we really need to deal with that. And reforestation is a big part of it for the tree canopy and what it means for climate change. And then the other was two MICA meetings. One was St. Paul and talked about affordable housing and what's happening. The other was the Northeast MICA, and I am really grateful that Kerry Collins and Commissioner Modis Castillo, I think Commissioner Carter, you were on there too, right? Yeah. Anyhow, we were able to present the information about our HRA levy and about our ARPA funds and what we're trying to do. And that was very well received. So thanks to staff again for pulling together the information. When you've got 5 minutes to cover all the things that we're doing, it's not necessarily the easiest thing to do. And also I made sure that folks understood that, you know, that Commissioner Modis Castillo is now chair of our board, and that Commissioner McDonough is chair of the HRA, so that if they had questions or comments, that they knew who were in those leadership positions. So mostly I'm saying thank you to staff here. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Commissioner Reinhardt. Commissioner Carter.
Thank you. I'll be brief. First of all, just to thank Commissioner Modis Castillo and County Manager O'Connor and our Planning Director Tolzman for a well-planned strategic review last week. We were able to look ahead to years to come, but to reaffirm the planning that we have done, the strategic priorities that we have built, and to update them. And I know that Commissioner Modis Castillo may talk more about that, but just a very big thank you for an excellent session reviewing and planning our work. I'll also mention that I was able to attend Ramsey County's Healthcare Futures Zoom meeting along with our workforce director, Ling Becker, And I'd like to commend the efforts of our workforce team in gathering the cooperation and participation of high-level leaders in the healthcare industry to chat alongside or with, I should say, our leaders in workforce solutions about the work that they are doing to engage and to coach and to develop people toward healthcare careers. So thank you very much for that session and that opportunity to partner with the industry to lift up the opportunities that exist for people to go into healthcare careers. Lastly, I attended the 2022 breakfast with Twin Cities mayors that was conducted by the Joint Chambers. It was a great opportunity to hear their review of the year past and their thoughts regarding upcoming year opportunities and challenges. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Carter. Lots of things covered as always, and appreciate everyone's work and really representing Ramsey County on the multiple boards and commissions. I just want to give a personal shout out to Seitu Jones, who received his Lifetime Achievement Award at the Capital Regional Watershed for his work in our community across our county on water and art and environmentalism. He has his hands in lots of things that are all fantastic for our community. And so congratulations to Seitu Jones for his Lifetime Achievement. Although he's not done by any means and continues to do great work in our community, but it's definitely an opportunity for us to pause and celebrate him and all he's done for our community. And thank you, Commissioner Carter, for mentioning the strategic planning. As we had previously talked about, we began to wrestle with this issue of climate impact and resiliency and what that role is for Ramsey County. I'm optimistic in the work ahead, and we know it is a lot of work as we venture down this road. And with that note, we have hired our first ever climate and health director to come to Ramsey County, which will start the end of February. So excited as we bring that person on board in the next few months to get us on this path. Today, we will be followed this meeting with a regional rail meeting chaired by Commissioner Ortega. We'll just take a minute break and stay on this link so the chambers can adjust. And then we'll have a board workshop following that meeting this morning as well. So with that, we are adjourned.